Hey guys, little update on the fake twins. Little reminder, but I guess you know it. This is two tank quite exact replica from each other in size, in equipment, but not in water chemistry and not in the kind of fish that you do find and host in it. Here, one more time, this is Brazilian, South America. Here, this is African Rift Lake, Tanganyika more precisely. This is soft water and this is way harder water, if I can sum up this way. So by the way, the idea of today's video, this is just to show you Ozone result after 1 week that it is running on this tank and after 2 or 3 weeks running on this tank. Results are quite similar, but not the same performance, I would say. Maybe it's because I started longer, but I don't think so. The tank that you do have in front of you, you can analyze the same way. Here you don't have any driftwood. Here you have a driftwood releasing also still some tannin a little bit in the water. And here you have some herbivore small fishes. Biomass not so high, pollution not so big. And here you have way bigger fishes and also more protein-oriented regime, I would say, and getting more food. But I think this is more the driftwood who could explain the coloration of the water, because yes, as you can see, with some ozone, one of the key points that you get, the nice advantage of this technology or equipment, this is to put a high level of clarity in the water that you don't get with other systems. So yes, some of you already commented that you can get some nice result with absorber like CChem Purigen, and this is true. And clearly, this is often used not just in Anglo-Saxon, English-speaking countries, but also in Europe. Especially when you start a tank, aquascaping tank, for example, you put 1 or 2 bags of Purigen in your filter, and it will help you to get very quickly a crystal clear water. But with such kind of resin, you need a kind of maintenance. You can reactivate it, but when you have big tank, in fact, it's not suitable, or it's not the best system that you can set up if you want clarity in your tank. So Ozone is not a new crazy system. Most of the equipment, for example, the filtration system here, very special. I would say it's not an innovation the first time that you see it to deal with water. No, in fact, this is ozone and the filtration, for example. This is the kind of system that you can find on the ponds for the koi, for example, and also in salt water, typically. And these two, here this is fresh water, by the way. These two other domains of fish keeping, they used to manage another level of investment and also price of livestock, meaning that at one point it could motivate some manufacturer or people at least to try and to set up some system to get better result. For example, corals and salt water, it's already proved many times, and I'm not here to tell this to you, just other fish keeper share the result and the impact of the corals that ozone can bring. And for koi fish in a huge volume as a pond can be, forget the absorber. In fact, you need a system working with less maintenance and even better efficiency. So, by the way, what I show you, I would like just to share with you a little bit more of detail. This is a new Aquamedic system. So this one, the box, different way to produce different amount of ozone generated, but the box size are the same as you can see here. And in fact, here this is the power of your little box. And as I told you in last video, I started with this guy. I already had this one as well. But in fact, if you check the recommendation of Aquamedic, here you can see that for fresh water, this is half of what can be used for salt water, and this half is in fact 5 milligram ozone per 100 liter. And we do have here 500 liters, so we have something like 25 gram per hour. Milligram, sorry, 25 milligram per hour. So in fact you have different this is an electronic box, and you have 10 levels, and if you just activate the first one of this box, you are already at 25, and this is more or less the level that you should in theory for fresh water achieve or generate. So it's too much, and you don't have a fine parameters. What I found out, and I share it because I think it's interesting for people who would like to test. I would advise really to have something not too much powerful in order to be able to do a precise related to the water volume of your tank, a suitable generation of ozone. And typically here 1/10, this is 9. So I'm running at the third level, 27 milligram. Comparison to 25, we are quite okay, I would say. And now I can share with you how it's running. Already did it last time. I guess if you do remember the reactor, this is this chamber, the generator is this one, the air pump is over there behind, sorry, here. This is AIM air pump 1000, generating, pushing already, and it's not noisy, so it's a good air pump. You throw the oxygen here, you have a kind of plate doing whatever vibration is doing and generating ozone, and you push the ozone, very oxidative material, in contact with the water. And why it is set up this way? Because in fact the UV is really helpful to neutralize the ORP that you get when you put such amount of material in the water, and after that you throw back the water. So if you want to see the amount of air and ozone mixed going through the system, you see it's not a crazy amount. The point is here also to not put it completely horizontal, but slightly this way, in order to make a kind of bubble before that the air with the ozone, neutralized ozone at the end, in order to last longer in contact with the UV. You get the idea. Basic system doing the job. The challenge this is to get a setup ozone proof or resistant, because this is really oxidative system and material. So by the way, at home you can smell the ozone when it is really few milligram in the air. I have no idea why we have the nose as sensitive as it is for ozone, because in nature this is not necessarily the materials that you can meet often. I wonder, for example, in bad weather, if there is a light strike, something like that, close to you, maybe ozonation of the air can naturally occur. Otherwise, I don't really know when you could meet it, but in fact you are able to detect it very efficiently. And the point is, without UV you will release in the air not something dangerous to you, but bothering you, and this is why this setup is suitable, and this is, to my knowledge, the best way. You can put some cold to filter. It's already a good chemical absorber in the water, but in the air as well, and in theory it's helpful. But here with the UV I get already some good results, so I do not need it. If you want to see the water quality, you have it here, and especially with maybe maybe a good resolution of the video, you can appreciate it. They already fed, so I already fed them, so in theory they are not looking for some food, but Strophius are getting older and ask for more, always more. What are the results since I'm using the ozone? So out of the transparency of the water, this is crystal clear and this is the best that I ever had. Even when you do a water change, you get nothing better than this. In fact, here transparency is slightly a bit less. I don't know in the coloration of the glass. This is crystal clear glass. Poof, the difference is not as simple to see. Or here, for example, if you have a look on the background, the wall behind, on the right, you see how white it is. On the left, alors take care because you have a yellow light here. It's not a good idea from me. Maybe I can switch it. The light. Let me have a look. Maybe this way. We can compare it. Without the yellow light on the left, you see the difference is not so easy to see. It's quite the same, but in my eyes, in front of me, here this is slightly a little clearer, and here beautifully clear, but not as clear as with the Tropheus. So by the way, back on the Tropheus. Impact on the fish, slightly a bit more active, and I can't tell you why, or at least at the discus, but because the Tropheus are little torpedo the complete time, as always. On the algae here, definitely we are losing the algae, you see? On the stone, they are just vanishing. I haven't cleaned anything on the bottom, so here some slightly brown-green algae are coming back, but you have to be focusing a lot. And for the Tropheus, it's not a big deal, but this is just to share the fact, what I do observe. After that, here in the feeding little cylinder, this is clear. Here, this is slightly white, but a bit clearer compared to what I get usually. And at the discus tank, what I really have been surprised to see very quickly, this is here. I used to have some, no idea why in this location, but some cyanobacteria. This is a blue algae, green algae in fresh water. And as you can see, we don't have anything coming back. Even if the plants are not as clean as it could be, the discus are waiting. You already got the food. There's no point to get more food. And so the first explicit surprise to me, this is cyanobacteria completely away after 1 or 2 days. And something great. They used to be here. What you see is slightly green algae, but no, not cyanobacteria as before. So I would say interesting. Other than that, fish active, feeding as usual. I see no impact on the skin, on the behavior of the fish, and hopefully I would say, but also monitored this way because the ORP of the water in the aquarium is close to 0. So it shouldn't be impact, but something slightly little bit ORP is already disturbing the cyanobacteria. It seems to be the case. And by the way, this is last time that I share with you the bottom-necked tank like that, because tomorrow the plan this is to put back some sand, as many people are wondering how is it possible to keep some fish without any bottom. The fact is I put away the sand in order to limit the number of parameters doing the experimentation and to be able afterwards to understand a little bit what's going on. So that's all for today. Hope everything is going fine at your place. Hope also maybe to bring a little bit of info to share with you that could motivate you to give a try as well. Ciao guys.